Hello guys, welcome back to Beyond the Realms, and this is my third time trying to do this video. I keep running out of space because I don't have a lot of memory on my iPad left. But anyway, one thing I haven't announced here on the channel, at least here on YouTube, is I am doing a full-on Robocop week. I have announced that on the Beyond the Realms Facebook page and Instagram page. Check those out, look me up, Beyond the Realms. But it all started with a book review of this huge, awesome coffee table edition book that I got a few days ago and continued on with the Mail Came episode from a few days ago. And I just figured, man, I'm going to go ahead and do a full-on Robocop week. Why not? I'm going to, of course, review all three of the original films, the remake, and the 4 Prime Directive movies, which were a TV series. And that's actually where I'm going to start today. Today we are going to talk about Robocop Dark Justice, which is the first out of 4 films from Prime Directive series, which came out in 2001. These are Canadian made. They were low budget. Here in the United States, they showed on the Sci-Fi Channel. Not a lot of people know about these guys. It seems like not a whole lot of people have even seen these. But these were all written and produced by Julian Grant, which he was given full reign to do what he wanted with these. And before we get started, I'll show you here. I took quite a bit of notes on these just because I've been watching these back to back to back, and I want to make sure I don't get anything all mixed up, with stories and all that. And also, guys, since there's not a lot of information out there on these films, you can just find little small synopsises for these. I want to tell what each one is about all the way through. So if you don't want to know what these are about, you'll want to skip this video because I'm going to talk about it openly through beginning to end. So it's going to be full spoilers. So if you don't want to watch it, you might want to turn off now. So okay, this film starts off with showing the villain of the film named Bone Machine. He is this ridiculous looking Skeletor looking rip-off guy that has these big guns for arms. Just really extremely cheesy dialogue, look, the way he laughs. It's just so good bad right from the start. It's like, okay, this is gonna be cool in a not so good way, but it actually gets a little better. But Bone Machine is just terrorizing Delta City. Delta City, there's a no gun policy. Even the police don't have guns. So this guy has guns and he's just terrorizing everything. And then we cut to a media break, which that's in this, and they also have the little comedic commercials going on, the cool little things going across the ticker. But it's showing, Robocop has just celebrated his 10-year anniversary, and then we cut to footage of a hostage situation going on at, get this, guys, Chelsea Clinton Savings and Loan by a gang of thugs called Da Bombs. Well, Robocop shows up. He's going to kick their ass, and right about this time, Bone Machine comes in too. He figures nobody's going to have a party without me getting in there. But in this scene right away, Julian Grant shows you that he wants to take this back to its roots because there's no less than 3 completely exploding bodies in this opening scene, which I thought was awesome. To show the whole body, you're either hit with a bomb or tons of bullets and just blows up, which I thought was awesome. But after this, we see a video that is touting Delta City as being the safest place on earth with their no-gun policy and the way OCP has cleaned up everything. And we cut to a board meeting where they're talking about how OCP is $700 billion in debt. And in this one, we don't get the old man that they had from the original series. No, in this one, we get a character that's actually titled in the credits as the old woman. And get this, guys, it is Ralphie's teacher from A Christmas Story that plays the CEO of OCP in this. And right after all this is talked about, there's an executive named Damian Lowe that stands up, and he's presenting this new supercomputer called Saint that he wants to implement in OCP and then eventually in Delta City, which is going to help cut down on costs. It's going to make things everything way safer, but it's basically just going to make everything be ran and monitored and programmed from this supercomputer. And then we see after this that James Murphy, Alex's son, just recently started working at OCP. Damien kind of befriends him, is trying to get him on his side. And James obviously does not know that Robocop is his father. But then we see Robocop start to try to figure out how Bone Machine gets his weapons. So he's zooming in on this picture, and he sees the OCP logo on one of the gun turrets on him. And he takes this information to fellow officer John Cable, which John Cable used to be Alex Murphy's partner before he was killed. And that's where you start to understand that this series takes place in an alternate reality from the original film series. Instead of Ann Lewis in this, it's John Cable. You could tell the first film took place, but this one totally disregards film 2 and 3. So John Cable says, okay, he'll keep an eye on it, but then that starts getting him interested in Robocop, so he starts searching things. He eventually finds out who Robocop is, how he was Alex Murphy and all this. But basically, the rest of the film deals with these elements, and it ultimately comes down to Robocop being programmed to kill John Cable because they think John Cable is Bonesaw. I believe I think he is Bonesaw. So they give him the directive to kill John Cable. And that's where we get into the human element of Robocop and how he's torn between his directive and his human side, and he's really fighting it. And he ultimately does kill John Cable, and that's really how the film ends. Is with that. Now, with a film like this, guys, you got to be very forgiving of its low budget, of its cheap sets. But the acting is not bad, guys, really, in this. I thought pretty much across the board it's not too bad. It's just, I think a lot of people are not going to enjoy this because it's really cheaply made. I mean, there's some really terrible shots of the city. It shows CG buildings, and just some of the stuff like that is going to really distract people from liking this. I think also this one doesn't have a whole lot of action. Like, it starts off really strong for the first half of the film, but there's not a lot of action that follows that. And honestly, besides the opening scene with the exploding bodies, this film really doesn't warrant an R rating. There is some gory stuff that pops up towards the end, but there's no bad language throughout the film, and really no violence that pops up except at your bookends. Now the media break things, they're cool, they're funny, but that's again some of that stuff looks really bad. Like, some of it's just really cheap looking, but some of it's funny, still. I mean, that's the thing. If you're very forgiving of this stuff and can be accepting of this stuff, I think you can enjoy it. I think hardcore fans are going to like this, but not a lot of people outside of hardcore fans. I enjoyed this film. I thought it was a good start to the series. I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. Guys, you can check this out on Vudu. On the book review, I said you can rent them. You actually cannot rent these on Vudu. You can buy them for $7.99 a piece. I picked this up used online for $4 through Amazon. It was like $7 with shipping. Worth it, in my opinion. Hardcore fans, check this out. Others might want to just skip on it. But guys, that is Robocop, Prime Directives, Dark Justice. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope you will watch the other reviews coming up very soon. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a good one. Later.